I spent my life savings of $165,000 to save my aunt after insurance denied her. The universe paid me back with $236 million. My Aunt Rosa raised me from the age of 6 after my parents died in a highway pileup during a winter storm 3 days after Christmas. She was 29 and unmarried, and she took me in without discussion. She worked double shifts at a laundry facility for 11 years and drove a car with no heat so I could attend a decent school. And when I graduated, she cried harder than anyone in the room. I spent the next decade working in pharmaceutical logistics, which is about as unglamorous as it sounds, and I saved carefully. No vacations, no new car, one-bedroom apartment until I was 34, a used truck I drove for 9 years. By the time she called me from the hospital, it was a Tuesday in March, and I had exactly $165,000 in a savings account I had never touched since I opened it at 22. The diagnosis was a rare autoimmune condition that had been attacking her liver and kidneys simultaneously for possibly years before anyone caught it. A specialist explaining that attacking and treatment protocol existed, the drug administered, but clinical evidence for folly. The insurance company's denial letter arrived 9 days later, citing the treatment as experimental, 4 paragraphs of boilerplate, despite 3 published clinical trials showing an 81% response rate in her exact patient profile. Their appeals process was projected to take 4 to 6 months. Her specialist pulled me into a hallway and told me privately she had perhaps 10 weeks. I called my bank that afternoon and wired the money in 2 transfers across 2 days because of daily limits. I didn't agonize over it. I didn't call anyone to talk it through. I didn't make a list. She had sold her own wedding ring at a pawn shop when I was 8 lose over to keep the list from being cut off, and never told me until I was 26 and asked her directly while we were washing dishes after dinner. The math was not something I had to work out. The treatment worked. By week 6, her markers had improved enough that her specialist used the word remarkable twice in the same appointment. Insurance denied the final appeal anyway on procedural grounds 3 weeks later. I filed a formal complaint with the state insurance commissioner and found an attorney who took bad faith denial cases on contingency. He told me in our first meeting that insurance count on capable being too exhausted and broke to push back. I was furious, which turned out to be useful. While all of this moved through channels, a licensing inquiry arrived in my email from a logistics firm headquartered in the Netherlands. I read it twice before I remembered what it was about. 18 months earlier, I had filed a patent application on my own time for a cold chain tracking system I built to address a problem I kept watching recur at work. A calibration gap in temperature sensors that left pharmaceutical shipments vulnerable in a way existing products couldn't fix. I spent 3 years on it during nights and weekends. I filed the application through an online service and more or less forgot about it entirely. A sick inquiry arrived from a cold storage company in Singapore 2 weeks later. My contingency attorney knew people at an intellectual property firm and made an introduction. What followed was 12 weeks of negotiations I had explained to me multiple times, a licensing structure I didn't fully understand until the 3rd meeting, and a deal that closed on a Wednesday morning while I sat in the parking lot outside my aunt's apartment building with a breakfast sandwich going cold in my lap. I had been staying nearby to help with her recovery. The wire confirmation came through before I finished eating. $236 million. I sat in that car for 43 minutes. My aunt knocked on the passenger window because she could see me from her living room window and thought something was wrong. I rolled it down. She looked at my face and said what happened. I held the phone screen up toward her. She read the number. She read it a second time. Then she said, "Go park properly. You're sitting crooked." The bad faith case settled 11 months later for an amount my attorney described as unusually favorable. The settlement terms are copperlental, but the state commissioner's findings of public record. Their internal denial criteria for that treatment category were revised across the industry the following year. My aunt still lives in the same apartment she has had for 22 years. I bought the building so she doesn't pay rent. She complained about it for 6 weeks and then stopped.